My name is Fabiola de Leon, and I'm going to be presenting my capstone project. My advisor was Dr. Leon, my client Maribel de Leon, and the name of my app is Josy speaking app, and it was named after my niece who has Rett syndrome. Rett syndrome is a neurological disorder of the nervous system that causes regression of the motor skills. Children with Rett syndrome have no verbal skills. They have very little control over their hands, so sometimes they cannot even use their hands, and they can walk. So to better explain the problem, just imagine yourselves in a situation where you have to say something, perhaps that you're hungry or you're in pain, but you have to do that without using your hands or speaking. So how would you do that? So that's basically what children with Rett syndrome are going through because they're not able to communicate or express themselves. The solution to the problem was to create an application that will allow them to communicate. It uses images and sounds to represent words in the vocabulary. The application needed to meet some requirements. Some of them were that the user must only see one single image at a time. The images need to be rotated across the screen. They are also able to adjust the speed of the images that are moving. The other thing is that they're able to add additional images and voice recordings so they can be part of the application. And the last feature is switch to swipe on the screen. And this is for users that have better hand mobility so they can swipe on the screen and they don't have to wait for each image to come to the screen. The methodology. The first thing that I had to do is learn a new programming language, which is Objective-C, and I had to do that on my own. I also had to find an artist to work on the images, gather some voice recordings, also start coding, test the application, and observe users to make sure that the application was being effective and make the necessary changes. The tools that I use is my computer. I use Xcode for the programming part. I also use Adobe Illustrator for the drawings and the design of the app. I use an iPad to test the application, a tablet to work on the drawings, and that's basically what I use for my tools. What I learned from this project is, as I mentioned before, I had to learn Objective-C, which was a brand new language. I learned that development of a software application is a long process and you always have unexpected issues. I learned to manage my time because I had to learn a new language and at the same time work on my application. I also learned to observe users because I wasn't getting any feedback from the users. I had to observe them and make sure that the application was being effective and make changes if I noticed that they were having trouble using the application. And thank you everyone for your interest and your time in my capstone project. If you want to learn more about Josy speaking up, please visit my poster section on room 120. And I also would like to give thanks to Maggie Corrales. She was the artist for my capstone and she did a great job. Thank you.